I am pleased to be joined with the NEF flyweight champion who went down to strawweight tonight and had a masterful performance, beating Lynn McMillan in the very first round by a ground and pound, just barrage of phenomenal strikes, Glory. And, I was sitting cage side and everyone was saying that this is the best you've ever looked. How did you feel in there tonight?
I felt amazing. 115 is definitely made for me. 125 was pretty good, but 115 is where it's at. I felt fast. I felt strong. My energy was good. I was ready.
Yeah, and we talked a little bit before the fight. You still had a little bit of weight to cut, but it really seemed like this weight cut was no big deal for you. So this is just something that should be kind of like, very normal for you moving forward to make this 115 pounds.
So I started my camp at 138. So I cut 23 pounds for this fight. And I think I was 122 and change on the Sunday before weigh-ins. And I got my weight down as low as I could. When it came Friday morning, I had 2.5 pounds to cut. The two boys fighting with me, Erik Tainter and Jimmy Jackson, both had 4 pounds to go. We all went to the University of Maine sauna together, and we all cut it together. We did it as a team. So it was having them there with me really helped push me through, and it gives you a reason to be better.
I was actually sitting right next to Lynn's corner, and they were very adamant about wanting to get this fight to the ground. It seemed like they felt maybe she had an advantage there, but you turned the tide rather quickly and were able to get her in a very compromising position and landed some monster shots and really put her out. Is this the most gratifying feeling that you've had at this point in your career as a mixed martial artist?
It's hard to say yes or no. Every fight has been so different. There hasn't been a single opponent I'm like, she fights very similar to this girl, and this girl was stronger than that girl. Everything has been so completely different. Lynn had more of a street fighter kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, style, I guess. So it was very, very different. I had to change my style a little bit to play around with it, and I think most people underestimate how strong I'm going to be because I am so small, and I think that is definitely to my advantage.
Yeah, well, you looked very strong in there from my point of view here tonight. Now, I understand that you had some, I don't know if it's stickum or what is it called, to basically help your, not to have any more wardrobe malfunctions, because I know you've had a couple in the past. You said your shorts kind of ride up. So tell me a little bit about this new thing you're doing tonight.
So it's what gymnasts wear. It's a spray. You spray it on, and then you put your shorts on, and it's like tough skin, and it's basically just makes you really tacky, really sticky, and my shorts would not come off. I had to go to the bathroom twice after I put it on, and I'm like, if I pull them off, I'm not going to be able to get them back on. So it was a challenge and a half, but they didn't move. That's the way I wanted it.
Oh, that's great. You need to be able to feel comfortable in there, in your gear while you're in there competing. So that's good that you found something else to help you as you move along in your career. Now, you didn't take any damage in there tonight. This is a very quick fight, and again, just a very, very fantastic performance. So with that said, I mean, are you going to try and get back in there really soon? I mean, I know 115, maybe that will be something that you could do if you took a short notice fight, or if there was another promotion, would you try and jump in there at 125?
I actually think we have a possible fight lined up for November. We can't say anything yet. It's still kind of in the works, but there is a possible matchup.
Okay.
So, and that will be for the NEF.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask, is for the NEF. And again, 115, will it be for a title?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm sure, you currently... Yeah, time will tell. You currently are the champion of the flyweight division. Now you're going to take the strawweight division by storm, 1-0 now, and you just keep on looking better and better every time in the cage. Glory, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you very much, Ryan.
I am joined by Mike Murray, who had another impressive victory, another quick victory, this time in the first round via RNC over Jordan Krim here tonight at NEF 40. First of all, Mike, congratulations. It was a very dominant performance. It seemed like you were really having a lot of fun out there, landing a lot of big kicks. What was the game plan heading into this one?
Absolutely the same thing as the last time, just win the fight. I didn't necessarily, it's literally to go out there and have fun. Just go out there, fight, do everything we've been taught. It's not ever a set plan to do anything. It's just to take everything I've learned and bring it into there.
You have kind of a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson type of persona to you, just with your flashy kicks and the way you move in there. It's very impressive. Did you ever feel, I mean, Jordan did look strong. You guys clinched on the cage there a little bit. Did you ever feel like that he had any chance of maybe getting you in a compromising position on the ground?
He did have me in a questionable position at the beginning when he had me. I had him up against the cage, but he had that headlock, like a guillotine almost, but he didn't have it fully locked. and I knew he was just wearing down his arm. So, and he was wailing on my side, so he got me there too. But I knew he was just wearing himself out.
Everyone seemed to be really excited about this fight here tonight. There was a lot of loud cheering in the crowd there. You seem like one of those guys that maybe get a little bit more hyped when the bright lights are out. Is that safe to say?
Absolutely. I was getting hyped before to other people's cheering as well outside. I was listening to that and just like kind of making that my own. So that was exactly what I was doing, honing all that in.
You know, one of the things that I loved you did, we don't see too much here regionally, is you called someone out after the fight inside the cage. You actually called out Nate White of CMBJJ, who won in the third round. It wasn't as pretty as your win, but he did secure a victory in the third round here tonight. Why that call out, and were you impressed by his performance?
I wasn't impressed with this performance as any of his performance. None of his fights have been that crazy. The particular reason I'm calling him out was because I don't like his sportsmanship. He's got poor sportsmanship. You know, after he wins a fight, he feels like he has to taunt the fighter, his opponent. Like, if you haven't felt like you left it all out there in the cage, then I don't see why you're fighting. Like, this is the wrong sport for you. After me and my opponents get done, that's it. We're done. Like, shake, hug, whatever, man. But I don't like his sportsmanship, and he's not that impressive. Also, to top all that, like Marines versus Army, let's go.
So this fight could take place in November. Is that what you're shooting for?
I got another fight lined up for him, and to my knowledge, you know, he's not taking this fight either. He's scared, in my opinion, and he's not very original. You know, he's coining the phrase that Nate Diaz says. So, to me, he's not at all impressive. He's got poor sportsmanship. And he's scared. So this is when we do fight. It's my win, easy.
So how does that fight finish? Is it a round one victory, much like tonight?
I feel like I want to make him punish. I want to punish him for all of his other poor sportsmanship. To all of his other opponents. I think I owe it to them, for sure.
Well, Mike, very, very impressive in there tonight. You moved to 2-0, and a very bright future. A lot of people around the cage were talking about you look like the real deal. So congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you back in the cage.
Thank you.
I am joined once again by Nate Boucher here at NEF 40 in the Collins Center here tonight. Nate, you're not performing here tonight, but you're here to support some teammates. Who are you here to support, and are you cornering anybody?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm cornering Zach Richard tonight. My roommate, actually, he was supposed to fight tonight. His opponent was 10 pounds overweight. It's just not okay, So unfortunately, that fight got pulled out, and I was also here to support my brother, Nate White. So it was very nice to see him come out on top. It's just, he's a young kid, man. It's impressive to see what he's doing for such a young age, 19-year-old kid, man. I'm impressed with what he did tonight, and now it's on to Zach, and I'll be in his corner tonight. So
it's really interesting because I was just interviewing Mike Murray. I think you may have been here for that, and he had some very strong words for your brother, and your brother did look good tonight. I've seen him in there in the cage before, and he's had some more impressive performance, some quicker victories. But a win's a win, and that was a good one here tonight. What did you think about that, and what kind of a fight would you expect that to be with those two?
Nate White, he's just a young, goofy kid, man. He's literally in there having a blast. It's 3-0. He's just in there having fun. He's doing his thing, man. It's a fight. It's fighting. You're in there fist fighting. He took this fight tonight on a 7-day notice. That says a lot about him. It definitely it takes a person to step up, and especially on a gym that doesn't necessarily care for him too much. So that alone, I got credit for him. As far as his call out, he can think what he wants, and that's all I'll say on that. I think that kid's a showboat myself, so it is what it is. If he wants to fight with Nate White, I'm sure it'll come about. Nate White's not scared of the fight. Moving to Texas like next week. Nate White will come and take the fight, and the outcome will be the right one. But yeah, he's in there having fun, and I love to see it. I love to see fighters, especially young guys, 19 years old, coming up, some new talent, new guys into the field, and just doing their thing, man, and he's doing it. Nate White's wrestling is top notch. Murray's got a lot of fancy kicks, a lot of, movement in his game. Nate White's fights, and it is with any wrestler, he grinds, and he's got a solid wrestling game. not the most exciting thing to watch, but it gets the job done. So I see the same thing, similar to how his fight went tonight, happening in that one as well.
Well, let's hope that one does happen because, man, that would be one that the fans would love to see. Let's talk about you, Nate, because you've been on a little bit of a streak lately. You really are starting to take your game to the next level. When can we expect to see you step back into the cage here? The November card is the next one up for NEF. Is that one you're targeting?
Yeah, I'm going to be back November 9th in Portland for the NEF. I think I got something in the works here coming out soon, so definitely look forward to stepping back in there and showing off my skill and the hard work that I've put in, for sure.
Now, will this one hopefully maybe be for a title? I know the last one was a little bit of an unfortunate circumstance there, but is this one have you talked to Matt Peterson? Is that something that could happen?
I'm sure it will. I like to fight. If it's for a title, awesome. If it's not for a title, I'm gonna go in there and I'm still gonna smash this guy. And after that, we'll see what the next step is. I got big things coming this year, so absolutely.
So your amateur career is going great. You want to achieve a little bit more, but I do know eventually you would like to turn pro. When do you think that would happen? Is that something that might not happen until 2021, or do you think maybe late 2020 is something you could shoot for?
I turned 24 this February. I got 3 first-round finishes in a row. My past 4 wins were first-round finishes, all submission. I'm going in there. I'm getting in. I'm getting out. After this next one in November, keep your eyes peeled for contracts.
Well, I cannot wait to see you step back into the cage. Always a pleasure watching you compete. Always a pleasure talking to you here. You're a good man and a great fighter. So thank you again, Nate Boucher. I'm joined by Erik Tainter of Young's MMA, who put up a valiant effort tonight here at NEF 40, but unfortunately came up short to Zach Richards at the end of round 1. Erik, you really had him in a very compromising position. How close did you feel you were able to get that submission? Did you feel like you were right there? And tell me a little bit about how the slam happened.
I feel like I was right there. It was last 10 seconds of the first round, and it was just, got to go for it. His arms were raised. I thought I had it. Turned out I didn't.
How badly hurt were you when the fight was stopped?
I hurt, but I could have kept going. It just wasn't my decision to stop the fight.
You took this fight, I guess, on rather short notice. You had another fighter, and Zach and yourself were matched up because you both lost out on your opponents. You were a heavy underdog going into this fight. He's got a little bit more experience than you. How confident did you feel going into this fight? I mean, you got a bunch of killers that you train with at Young's. How prepared did you feel?
I felt totally prepared. I always feel prepared. My coach said I was. He wouldn't lie to me and send me out there if I wasn't.
What is next for you? Are you going to get right back in there and keep training like you always do? Or can we expect to see you on the November card?
Of course. I'm going to heal up, train up, get ready for the next one.
Well, Erik, you really fought your heart out tonight. Again, unfortunately, I'm sorry that you did come up short, but no need to hang your head because you really put on a great performance and had the fans here at the Collins Center tonight cheering for you. So thank you again for everything you did in there, and we'll be talking soon, buddy.
Thanks very much, Ryan.
Joining me now is Zack Adams, who is here cornering his fighter tonight. Devin Corson, who put on a really fantastic performance, really heavy wrestling, and that's kind of what his MO is. How overall did you feel he did here tonight?
I think he did a good job. There were some things we need to improve on, finishing and balance, but for the most part, he did what we wanted him to do, just not as much as we wanted him to do it.
He really has some phenomenal slams. If you look at like a lot of his previous fights, these highlight reel slams that you would see in like WWE or something. What is it like, I guess, preparing him to step inside to the cage? You got to kind of like reel him in because he just seems like he's just ready to go like a caged animal.
Yeah, our biggest problem is kind of keeping him under control, working the finer parts of the game. His athleticism is out of this world, and his wrestling base and his understanding of balance, so he can get those big slams, are really, really good. But a big slam is great for the crowd, but it doesn't do anything if you can't follow it up with a finish or at least a dominant performance.
There definitely was a lot of groundwork here in this fight. Was there any opportunities where you felt like Devin could have had a chance to get a submission victory here?
There are things he could have done that could have opened it up. I will say that Jake Detmeyer is a really, really solid opponent. Comes from a really great gym, first class. And amusingly enough, I worked with him all this past winter on his grappling. So knowing that Devin is my student, I know that Jake probably spent some time making sure to have anti-jiu-jitsu and make sure that he didn't give Devin a lot of opportunities for a finish, which he was very good at doing.
What is Devin's ceiling moving forward? Obviously, he's doing very well here regionally, fighting for New England Fights. What do you think we're going to see him do here over the next year or two?
I think over the next year, I think we're going to try to stay amateur. We're hopefully looking to maybe get a chance at a strap. That would be great. And then extend out a little bit, maybe fight in some other promotions. Not that Matt Peterson and everybody at NEF isn't getting us great opponents, because he is. But, we don't just want to be stuck as a main fighter. And I think within 2 years, if everything goes well, we could probably start looking at turning pro.
Now, you own your own gym, and you're doing quite well for yourself. Tell me a little bit about who some of the other up-and-coming fighters that you have on your roster that maybe we can see in November or another one of the cards here moving forward.
Well, right now, I think we've just got Devin who's ready to go. We've got a couple of people that I don't really want to tip my hand at who haven't fought yet. But I think within the next year we'll have a few more names on the stable. But I kind of want to keep that under wraps for now.
Understood. Well, Zack, it's always a pleasure to see you, buddy. Great time here tonight at NEF 40 at the Collins Center, and we look forward to seeing you back at the next one.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I am pleased to be joined by Steven Desjardins, who picked up a very impressive win here tonight at NEF 40 over his opponent, none other than Mr. Dylan Henry here. Steve, welcome back to the cage. Nice to have a win, huh?
Right? Yeah. Way to come back in my hometown. It's awesome.
Man, you were in a little bit of trouble there early on. He was really getting after you, and then you picked him up, and it was basically the slam from hell. You dislocated his shoulder, and it was gruesome. I was right there, and he was yelling to the ref, stop the fight, stop the fight. My shoulder's dislocated, and you can see it popping out. It was pretty bad. Did you know when you slammed him that you hurt him that bad?
Honestly, I heard a big thud, and I was about to post up and land some more punches, and I honestly didn't hear him say that. I was just, spaced out, but at the end, though, I could see that his shoulder was a little out of place. So,
obviously, I don't need to ask you if you're pleased with your performance, because that was one of the best ones of the evening here tonight. But it has been a while since you've fought inside the cage. How long has it been now?
About 5 years now. Shit.
And so how has this camp been? You're no longer at Team Irish. You've been training over at Young's, and you were represented by them this time, although you weren't. You were fighting as an independent. So how has this camp been? How do you feel you've been progressing since you've been back training mixed martial arts full time?
Well, nothing against Dylan. I started off the camp pretty rough. After 5 years not doing anything, muscles were a little sore. I ended up tearing my shoulder, my muscle in there. So it was a little bit of stressful camp, but with the guys over there, just one day in there, it's like a week. There's some tough killers in there, and they got me all ready.
So the next NEF card is going to be in November. Is that one that we can plan to see you on? And you got an opponent, someone you want to call out?
Honestly, anybody just wants to come in there and just fight me, because I'm going to bring it hard, and if you think you can handle it, let's go.
Well, again, congratulations on the win. Well-deserved. Happy to see you back in the cage, and we look forward to the next one, buddy. I'm pleased to be joined by the phenom, Tom Pagliarulo, and still he retains his amateur featherweight title after a very impressive performance beating Jimmy Jackson of Young's MMA tonight here at NEF 40 in Orono. Tom, congratulations, first of all. It looked like the game plan going into this maybe was for you to keep this on the feet, to stick and move, and really utilize your boxing. All in all, how pleased are you with your performance?
I'm really happy with it. I wanted to strike more. I've been spending so much time with Rob and really working on my strike, and I wanted to show I'm not just the guy to go in there and lay on you for 5 rounds. I want to show I have something to be feared in all parts of this game. So I had to make him think I was going to wrestle, so we did a lot of feints, a lot of touches on the legs, and then come up top with the strikes. But I'm pleased with it, man, but still more work to do.
Now, Jimmy was really trying to utilize a lot of leg kicks early on. Were you bothered at all by that, or were you just trying to kind of gauge his range and adjust?
Yeah, I was just gauging his range, finding where I could strike and not get hit by him. So he has some good teeth, some good leg kicks. They're hurting now, but at the time, no, I didn't really feel them too bad, but definitely got to start checking those. But yeah, just finding my range.
You really busted him up there in the first round as well. The doctor came in and obviously stopped the fight. It looked like his nose may have been broken. Did you feel like it was?
Yeah, I actually was with him backstage, and it was pretty broken. I remember the shot that did it, and I think I hit it a few more times after that, and his whole cheekbones and stuff were a little messed up too. So I hope speedy recovery for him. But yeah, I think it was for an Emmy fight. Worth it to stop it.
Now, can we talk a little bit about what's next for you? Do you plan on stopping or stepping back into the cage for NEF, maybe on the November card, or do you have your eyes set on another promotion here down the line?
Yeah, I think we're going to look at some other promotions. I think we got another title shot lined up. Don't want to say anything yet, but got to talk about that and travel a little bit, collect some more belts, and then, like I said, we're going to talk about the pro ranks in the near future, next year or two. So getting there.
Well, again, congratulations on the victory. Happy to see you retain the belt. Well-deserved a win over a very tough opponent. The NEF Amateur Featherweight Champion and still, Tom Pagliarulo. I am joined now by Josh Harvey, who picked up a very big win tonight at NEF 40 over Dom Jones in round number 1 via key lock. First of all, Josh, congratulations on the win. Another great performance for yourself. All in all, is this fight, did it turn out the way that you thought it would?
With a W, yes. Exactly how you envision it, never does.
What was the game plan going in against Dom? And I know it's got to be a little bit different than preparing for Ricky, but what was your plan of action here tonight?
The same game plan for one or the other. I think they're very similar fighters. I wanted to stay straight and long. I kind of narrowed the distance on myself, and I just went where the fight did. So,
did you feel like the bigger, longer, stronger fighter in there right from bell to bell?
Yes, absolutely, and I don't think that I utilized that as well as I could have. But you're never going to be satisfied in this sport. There's always more you could do, something you could have done better, faster. So, you got another big win and you got a very stellar record. Do you plan on, fighting on the NEF card in November, or do you think you're going to take a little time off and maybe we'll see you in 2020? I definitely don't see any need for time off. That was in and out. I didn't take any damage. I'm ready back on it. With the right fight, I'm back in there in November.
Is there anybody you can call out? Is there anyone regionally here that you feel like would be a good fight for you in your next matchup?
I think the only fight's owed. So I owe Jordan Downey, right? That was the man's name. I was supposed to fight in June.
Jordan Downey, yeah.
Yep. Yes. So, if he was willing to come up and I could repay that fight for him, I would happily do that. If Dexter's cleared medically and he would like to, bang that one out and figure it out, I'd like to do that.
How much of a disappointment was that to not fight Ricky? I know you were looking forward to it.
I was really looking forward to just kind of laying it to rest. Now that we'd been given the opportunity to do so, that we're not on the same team, because people had always kind of wondered if the best man won that fight, and I was ready to just put that to bed.
So is that a fight? If you were offered that next, would you jump all over it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the fans are owed that one again for the third time.
Well, congratulations on another big win here tonight. Josh Harvey stays unbeaten and beats Dom Jones in round 1 here at NEF 40. I am pleased to be joined by the number 11 ranked bantamweight on the UFC roster, Mr. Rob Font, who is here at NEF 40 in Orono to corner one of his training partners, Tom Pagliarulo. And Tom retained. He looked great in there tonight. Overall, how pleased are you with the way your boy went in there and did his thing?
Yeah, he's young, up and coming, super confident now. He's finding his way in striking, and he's still got the belt, so I can't complain.
Tell me a little bit about, the evolution of Tom's game, training with you and Calvin. Obviously, when he's going with guys like you and Calvin, that's as good as it gets. How much better has he been getting here as the days and weeks go along?
Honestly, it was more the just tricking him to believe that he's good. I had to just make sure, hey, you have the skill set, you have the natural ability as far as the long arms and the wrestling experience and all that. You just got to, trick him into believing that he knows it. It's one thing to think it, but when you know it, it's different. And you see tonight, he knew he could strike. He knows he can land his right hand. He was he was stunning a couple of the sparring partners coming down on sparring for his fight. So like going into the fight, he knew he can hit people and put them down. And you saw what happened. He hit him with one right hand, one clean straight right hand, and his nose just exploded. But I'm super proud. I couldn't stop cheesing, man. Yeah.
Now, obviously, Tom has an unbelievable wrestling pedigree. He's known for that. But as you alluded to, he went in there and did his thing on the feet. Just some great striking here tonight. Was that the game plan for you as a coach to have him go in there and try to utilize his striking as an amateur, even though his bread and butter is his wrestling?
Yes and no. I would have been happy if he took him down the first round. The first 2 seconds. So, I want him to be able to well-rounded from the beginning. I don't want him to be known as just a wrestler or just a striker. I want him to be well-rounded. But his strengths are striking. So I would love to see him just set up a couple shots, stun him, take him down, finish the fight there. But he can't complain. He did his thing, and he still got the belt.
What is Tom's ceiling? Do you expect him one day down the line to be in the UFC like yourself?
100%. Like I know he is. I know he's going to be. It's just how we approach it. But I know he's going to be in the UFC. And just hopefully he just stays at 45, so I don't have to knock him out. But yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about you. You've been one of the mainstays in the bantamweight division for a very long time now, and I know there's a huge card coming up here in Boston in October. I believe it's the 18th. Is there any rumblings? Are you getting any names where you might get a fight here?
Yes and no. They threw out Jimmy Rivera. They threw out Cody Stamen. I guess both of them are not taking a fight. We're still in talks, obviously, with Shelby and everybody. But yeah, we'll find. Hopefully, I should have a name within the next 2 weeks. But it is getting rough. It's like 6 weeks out, right? 6 or 5. So it is getting a little tight. But I should have somebody soon.
Obviously, you want to fight someone in the top 10. That's what you want to do because you want to climb the rankings here. But is there someone that's below you that if they decide to step in and fight you, that excites you, that can make a good fight for your family and friends in Boston?
Yeah, me. I'm just trying to deliver knockouts. So they could throw anybody out there. Obviously, if the fight I would love to have a fight that makes more sense for me as far as climbing the rankings. But if it's a debut, I'm cool with that too. Bring him in. I'm ready to. I'm just ready to perform. It's been a while. I didn't get to fight in Greenville, so I'm itching. I'm sitting there. Almost beat up Tom today, and it's his fight night. I'm saying? So I need to get in there. But we'll put it together. Tyson's always working, and he'll handle it.
Well, hopefully you do get that matchup. I know you'd have a lot of people here in the New England area that want to see you on that UFC Boston card. So Dana, Sean, Mick, everyone out there, make sure you find this man an opponent. One last question, Rob. Obviously, Calvin Kattar is really just climbing the ranks, and he's got his biggest test to date against Zabit on that very card, the co-main event. How is Calvin looking in camp, and what is your overall prediction of this fight? It's going to be a tough fight, but what do you think is going to happen come the 18th?
He's like you saw what he could do with one shot with Lamas. Obviously we don't want to look for just one shot with a guy like Zabit. He's so skillful and all that, but there's not 45ers that are hitting guys like the way Calvin's hitting them. And you see it's real basic. If you look at any of his highlights in the UFC, it's all jab crosses. It's all jab crosses. Imagine if he puts together hooks, elbows, and knees. You know what I'm saying? Like it's going to be ridiculous. With that being said, Zabit's super hard to hit. So we're going to have to get there with our feet and being real super smart with our hand placements and finding the shots. And I believe he's going to do it. I believe it's going to be the body shots that are going to set up the head shots and vice versa. But it's going to be a tough fight. But you're messing with Calvin Kattar in his hometown. It's a tough fight for him as well. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. This is going to be one of those fights that is must-see TV. You just can't miss. Well, listen, Rob, congrats on your boy Tom retaining tonight. It's a good night for you guys down at Recon.
I was smiling all weekend. It was perfect. Everything went smooth, and yeah, man, we get to go back, celebrate with his family and friends, and just have a good time in Maine.
Well, I really appreciate the time, and best of luck finding that fight in October.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you.